Hey students, I want to welcome you to Educators Rising. I am so glad that you have joined us today as we kick off our brand new club here at KEC. I want to share with you what we're going to do today. This is kind of our agenda for the today. We're going to start off with a short icebreaker called What Do You Love? After that, I'm going to share with you an overview of what Educators Rising is all about. Next, we will use a Google form for registration and where you can give me your t-shirt sizes for Educators Rising. Remember, everybody who's a member of Educators Rising will get a free t-shirt, and the registration is free as well. Registration normally costs $20, but that is being paid for on your behalf. Next, we will dive into today's learning topic, which is career paths, roles, and opportunities. Each month when we meet together, we're going to dive into a new topic. I have about 43 topics to choose from, and I'm choosing 7 or 8 that I think are most relevant to you as students here at KEC. Next, just in case you want them, we will have refreshments. Then we will adjourn to our buses right on time. And our next meeting will be on Thursday, December 1st, same place, same time. So let's jump right in with our icebreaker. This icebreaker is called What Do You Love? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand out little pieces of paper to everybody in our classroom. And you're going to put your name on it, and then you're going to respond to several different categories. You're going to be thinking of the musical performance that you love the most, games, books, movies, foods, sports or athletes, and apps or social media. So the point of this is for you to fill out everything that you love, and what we're going to do then is you're going to turn them into me. I'm going to read them aloud, and we're going to see if the other students can guess just who it is who loves those things. So when you're doing this, make sure to keep it private. Make sure that nobody is looking at your answers because we want to see how well you know each other. Next, I want to share with you an Educators Rising overview. I'm really looking for Educators Rising, our club, to be a place where students who may be interested in teaching as a profession may learn more about teaching. As you know, I am your teacher here, and I have been a teacher for many, many years, and I love it. But I also understand that teaching is not for everyone. We have early childhood students here. We have other students from KEC here. You may have figured out what you want to do already after you finish high school, or you may still be kicking the tires and trying to figure it out. So one option for you is teaching. I'm not going to push you into teaching, but I want to help you learn more about teaching in this club. Educators Rising is also a place where students can get an understanding of the steps involved in becoming a professional teacher. So I just want to help you to clarify, if I want to become a teacher, what do I need to do next? I also want Educators Rising to be a place where students may have fun and enjoy getting to know each other and learning about our topic. If you're in my class, you know that fun's a big part of it. I really enjoy having fun with students, and I want this to be a place where students can be themselves and where students can have fun together. And the last kind of goal of Educators Rising is to be a place where students may build their resume to help earn college admittance, scholarships, and jobs in the future. So these things might seem kind of far off to you, the whole thought of college or earning scholarships or getting a job. But when you go to do those things, it's very helpful to have clubs like Educators Rising on your resume. Next, we're going to watch a kind of 2.5-minute video that I thought gave a good introduction to being a teacher.
Being in high school, I kind of used to put others before myself. So as an educator, I will continue putting them before myself and making sure that their needs are met and stuff like that. So that's like my
teachers listen to their students, there's going to be a closer connection, and that's how the classroom is going to work better, by knowing each other. I've had many teachers who are just there to do their job and they don't try to relate with students. I want to be a teacher that is approachable because some things are a little bit more important than others. And that's important too, of course. But shaping people is what I want to do.
When I am a teacher in my classroom, I feel like I would be the teacher that I would influence my kids. The kids would come to me if they didn't have a parent to come to. I'd be that teacher that people felt safe with.
I want to be somebody that my students not only look up to, but they value. I want my students to be able to go home and be like, stop bullying Thomas because that's not what Mr. Lozama would do.
I want to be a teacher who encourages their students, but also can make them laugh. Because I think you can't take the job too seriously. Students don't respect you when you take it too seriously.
Some people are not meant to be teachers.
We all know that.
Yeah, right. And that's like a real conversation you need to have with yourself. Because for me, I'd rather for you to be honest and, you know what, teaching is not for me. Than for you to, because I think that it's so important that we are positive influence in their foundation and growth. If you're not in it for the right reasons, this is not for you.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. I think it gave a kind of look at some people just like you who are high schoolers who are contemplating being teachers. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Next, what we're going to do is a registration. So we have to register for Educators Rising, and I am actually going to go on the website and register all of you, but I want you to give me information about yourself as well as your t-shirt size so I can get you registered and get that t-shirt on its way. So we're going to take 3 or 4 minutes. You can either take a picture of the QR code that I have here on the screen, or you could type these characters into your Chromebook to register. So we will take a couple minutes to register. All right, now we are going to begin today's lesson, today's learning, which is entitled Career Paths, Roles, and Opportunities. So Educators Rising has a curriculum that they've developed for students like you, and there are a whole bunch of different kind of lessons in this, and I am going through and choosing like 7 or 8 of the lessons that I think will be most helpful to you at this point. So we're going to start in with this one. Do know that these are not lessons that I have written. I am just kind of using somebody else's work to share things with you. So we will give this a go. The first thing that they talk about here is a guided notes worksheet. So whenever you see this little red icon on the screen here, it's a place where on your Chromebook you have the opportunity to take notes. So I would encourage you to do that. Taking notes is kind of one of those good life skills for us to have. And there are going to be places in this where you want to take notes so we can discuss what you have written down. So whenever you see that icon, feel free to jot stuff down, anything that you think will be helpful. So each of the lessons that we have will have some objectives. Objectives are goals or things that we want to learn from that lesson. So the first set of objectives, rising educators will be able to answer, explain the following things. What are your personal reasons for choosing a role in education? How would you describe and explain different roles in education? What are the requirements and features of educator participation programs in college and universities? And what factors are most important when selecting a college or university? I'm going to redo one of those bullets. What are the requirements and features of educator preparation programs at colleges and universities? So those are the various things that we're going to look at over the next few minutes together. The first thing is a writing activity. So Chromebooks out, I'm going to give you a few minutes, just about 2 minutes, to answer the question, why be an educator? So the writing activity, in your own words, explain and discuss your reasons for wanting to be an educator. After we finish this, I'm going to offer you the opportunity to share an idea or two. But I also want to say something additional here. Maybe being an educator is not what you want to do. Maybe you want to be a lawyer. Maybe you want to be a veterinarian. Maybe you want to work with computers. Whatever you want to do, I want you to kind of write down what are some reasons for wanting to be that profession. So like I said, I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this, and then I will ask for a few volunteers to offer some answers. Next, we're going to talk about some traits of educators, some kind of characteristics of educators. I'm sure that you can think of the best teachers that you've ever had and what you feel makes them a good teacher. So some of the qualities of great educators that Educators Rising has shared with us are passion for supporting students. So I remember watching that video a little bit ago, and passion is one of the things that I saw in students. They wanted to relate with students. They wanted to have fun with students. They had a real passion for supporting students right where they're at. Another one is a reflective thinker, to kind of think about, how did that lesson go today? Did it go well? What would I do differently next time? Another quality that they talk about is being organized. As a teacher myself, I've learned the importance of being organized. You've got a lot of students, a lot of classes, you need to keep track of a lot of things, so organized is important. Humility is important as well. Humility is just kind of the ability to say, oops, I kind of messed that up. Not being bold and not being boastful and proud, but just being humble. Another one is strong work ethic. And we've talked about this in our class as well, but somebody who shows up on time, somebody who's focused on getting the job done, somebody who's honest, trustworthy, that kind of stuff all goes together to build a strong work ethic. Next one that they have provided is a growth mindset. Somebody who's a lifelong learner, always willing to learn new things to add them to all what they already know. So having a growth mindset or a growing mind is important. Collaborative is helpful as well. In all of my teaching experiences, before this one, well, even with this one, with Maritza being here, I've needed to collaborate with other people. So collaborative, working together is an important thing. Next one is willingness to adapt. Things are always changing in education, and we need to be flexible so that when a change happens, we're not going to break like when you bend a pencil and it breaks, but we're going to flex like a rubber band would flex. So we want to be that. So then the question on this slide is, what additional traits do you believe make a great teacher? So I'm going to give a minute here for you to offer up any other traits that you would think make a good teacher. The next thing in the Educators Rising curriculum is reflecting on educator traits. So what qualities did you identify with the most? And what additional strengths do you think you could contribute to your future classroom? So we had a lot of ideas that I shared on the previous slide, and you came up with some ideas as well. Which of those things do you think you identify with the most? Or what additional strengths do you think you can contribute to your future classroom? One thing that I love myself is technology. I love using technology as a tool to help students learn. I also love being creative. I like thinking up different ideas and different ways of doing things. So those are some of those qualities or characteristics that I find in me that I think help me to be an effective teacher. So this slide, they're calling a brainstorm slide. Besides classroom teacher, what are some other careers? What other careers are there for those who want to work as an educator? So you're going to sit with the people at your table, and I want you to think up any other things that you can do if you want to be part of education, but might not necessarily want to be a teacher. We're going to do this for a little bit, and then we will share what you've come up with. So, Educators Rising has shared a few things with us. Teaching is one thing. Teaching includes special education teacher, elementary teacher, professor, a department chair of a college or a university. I would add early childhood teacher. So there are a lot of different teaching roles that you can have. Middle school teacher, high school teacher, all kinds of teacher roles. Another way that, or another career idea of working in education would be administrative. You know that you have principals and vice principals. A superintendent is the person who is in charge of an entire school district. You have a lot of different roles like that in your school. There's also a lot of support services. So you have somebody that sits at the desk and answers the phone and helps parents out and family members out. Your school also has a social worker, has a psychologist. You have a school counselor. So there are a lot of roles in education that are outside of the classroom to help students to become successful students. And then they also have some policy-driven kind of roles with school. Being a school board member, so sitting on the school board, making some big decisions of what happens at the school. You could also be a state representative. You could lead a nonprofit agency. So a lot of different things that you can do to support education. The questions on the right: what roles interact directly with students? What roles interact directly with teachers? And how do all the roles work together to support teachers or to support students? I have a friend, his name is Steve as well, and what he was an educational coach. So his job is to help teachers learn new ways of teaching their students. So he help students indirectly because he coached their teachers. I knew another person at Kishwaukee College when I worked there, and his role was technology and online learning. So he helped teachers learn how to do those things so they could work well with their students. There are also some non-teaching jobs in education that are listed here. School leadership. Colleges and universities have a position called deans. So you're going to have a dean of students who oversees student conduct and behavior, student activities, that kind of stuff. You may have a teaching coach, like I just referred to my friend Steve. There are newer positions at schools called diversity, equity, and inclusion officers, which is really focused on making school an inclusive place where everyone is welcome and valued. Other education services: you could be a startup founder, not sure what that one is. You could be technology and education developer, so learning different ways to use technology with students. One thing about students now is you are very, very tech savvy, so the teachers need to figure out how to meet you where you're at with your tech savviness. Advocacy is one listed here. People who write policies for schools. You could be a teacher advocate, somebody who tries to get teachers paid well, tries to get teachers good learning opportunities, that kind of stuff. A union leader, kind of similar to that. In higher education is colleges and universities. You could be a researcher who goes out there and tries to create new knowledge by learning about things. You could be somebody who trains teachers. You could be an administrator. So there's a lot of different things that you can do in the teaching area. This slide here shows some different roles in education, and they're asking us to do something that I don't think we're going to do in this class, but what they're showing in the center box here, career roles and opportunities in education, and then they're kind of branching out. One is teacher, one is superintendent, one is school psychologist, one is school librarian, a bunch of different things like that. So I think that we would be able to create tons and tons of boxes if we were to do this activity together. So the next thing they have us doing in our curriculum is called Think, Pair, and Share. So we are going to pair up in groups of 3 here, and we're going to answer the question, what do you know currently about becoming an educator? Kind of how do you get there? So based on what you know right now, you're going to discuss what steps you believe are required to become a licensed educator. So I'm going to give you a minute or two to do that, and then I'll share with you what Educators Rising shares as those things. So here we see steps to become an educator. And it says, as we explore what makes for an effective educator preparation program, we will operate under 2 assumptions. The first assumption is that you want a career in education, and I know that assumption is not true for everybody, but that's the way we're going in this curriculum. We're also going to assume that you want to attend a college or university that will allow you to reach your selected career path in education. So to be a teacher, education is a really, really important thing. There are a lot of jobs that you can do and be very happy at and support your family that don't involve a lot of education, but education is really one that requires quite a bit of education. So then they talk about the steps to take. We want to decide what you want to do in education. Do you want to be a school counselor? Do you want to be a school psychologist? Do you want to be a school nurse? Do you want to be a school teacher? Do you want to be a principal? What do you want to do? So deciding on what you want to do in education. And I just want to say right now that sometimes we start doing something and then we start doing something different. So a lot of times a school principal was a teacher for many, many years before they moved into the role of being a principal. So you can change once you start doing something. The next step that they recommend we take is to select a college or university, potentially one that is an accredited educator preparation program, also known as EPP. So we want it to be accredited. Accreditation means that somebody from outside the university comes and says you're doing all the right things to help people prepare to be an educator. The next thing you'll do is get your degree or your degrees. Really, to work in a public school, you need a bachelor's degree, and you can go beyond that and get a master's degree as well. After that, you want to pass your relevant test. So there are tests that you take that allow you to become teacher certified. Next, you're going to apply for your certification, and then you're going to get hired. So this is a kind of 6 steps of what you need to do to become a professional educator. This slide, entitled Educator Preparation Program Accreditation, talks about an important thing on accreditation. The purpose of a professional educator preparation program, or EPP, is to ensure that all future educators are highly qualified and well prepared to serve all students effectively. So that's the goal of accredited programs, to make sure that teachers are highly qualified and well prepared to serve students effectively. We want all teachers to be prepared and ready to serve students. The educator preparation program importance is as follows. An accredited program demonstrates that it meets standards set by the academic community, professionals, and other stakeholders. So they meet standards. Standards say how well you're going to do something and what you're going to do. They meet those standards. The next thing, accreditation, makes sure that the educator programs prepare new teachers to know their subjects, their students, and have clinical training necessary to enter the field ready. So 3 important things here. We want you to know your subjects. So if you're going into high school, as you are now, you've got math teachers. You need math teachers to know their subject. You have Spanish teachers. You have technology teachers. You have humanities teachers. You really want all those teachers prepared and knowing their subject well. The next thing is to know their students. So much of teaching is relationships. In early childhood, it's relationships. In high school, it's relationships. So we really want to equip teachers to be able to form and develop relationships with students. And then the third thing here, it talks about clinical training necessary to enter the field ready. So before you leave college, you're going to become a student teacher. And I know some of you probably have had student teachers in your class. They are there because that's part of their preparation to become a teacher after they graduate from college. Next, we're going to look at what we should look for in an educator preparation program. So first thing we want to look at are hands-on experience. Do you really get to work with young children? Do you really get to work with students? Do you get to go into a classroom and student teach? Are you getting hands-on experience using the curriculum and teaching it yourself? Are you prepared for diverse populations in race, ethnicity, language, disabilities? So when you go out and teach, you're going to have a whole variety of people that you work with, of students that you work with, and you want to be prepared for that so that you can work effectively and meet everyone where they're at. You'll also want a place where you can have received mentoring and coaching. Mentoring and coaching are very similar terms, but think of a coach. A coach takes an athlete and helps them to get better at what they are doing. The coach for a football team helps tacklers to get better at that, helps the quarterback to get better at that, etc. So you want to go to a school where they're going to be good at coaching you to become better and better and better at teaching. Another thing to look for is data and research. On the data side of things, you're going to look at how well does this school do at placing students. Do students who graduate from the school with a degree in education, are they able to get jobs? So that would be a little bit about data and research. The next task they have here is brainstorm choosing a college. In your activity, what factors should you consider when selecting a college or university to attend after you graduate from high school? List any reasons that feel important to you in your guided notes. In groups of 4, or I would say 3, share out the reasons that are important to you in your search for a college to attend. And then as the whole class, share one reason that is important to you in a college or university. So, as with other things, they ask you to think about it, and then they offer some reasons as well. So these are some reasons that could impact your selection. So geographic location. Is this where I want to go? Is this where I want to live? We had a student last year who is now, she graduated from DeKalb High School, and now she's a student in Florida. What a wonderful geographic location to be. Academic quality. Schools are going to vary considerably in the quality of academics they provide. So you want to get a school that offers the appropriate academic quality. School size. You can go to massive schools and you can go to very small schools. So you have to figure out what fits you best. I went to a very large school, the University of Illinois. I don't even know how many students they have there, but it was a huge school. But I found that we could make it kind of small because I hung out with the people in my dorm, or I hung out with the people in my apartment building. Another thing to look at is cost and tuition. Can I afford to go to this school? Look for support systems. What do they offer there that's going to help me to become a good student? Look at the resources that they can offer. Can they offer scholarships? Can they offer grants? That kind of stuff. Do they have good libraries? If you're an athlete and you are wanting to pursue athletics in college, do they have nice facilities for their student athletes? Class selection's another one. Do they offer the major that I want? Do they offer classes that look interesting to me? And then the last one is campus culture. What does this campus feel like? Is this a place where I will be happy? Remember, if you go to university, you're probably going to be spending at least 4 years there, so you want to have a good campus culture. So we have arrived at the end of today's teaching, and they call this the exit teacher exit ticket. Provide responses to the following questions. What is one trait that you possess that will enable you to be a good teacher? And please provide a reason why. And name one teaching pathway job in education that you had not considered and that you'd like to learn more about. And then we are going to revisit the lesson objectives that we had at the beginning. What are your personal reasons for choosing a role in education? How would you describe and explain different roles in education? What are the requirements and features of a teacher-educator preparation program at colleges and universities, and which factors are most important to you when you're selecting a college or university? And then there are some references provided here as well, so you are welcome to check those out.